Source Walka just confronted Ray J live on stream after catching alleged sneak disses during a broadcast with Adrian Broner. Things flipped when Source pressed Ray J over comments about independent artists. But wait until you hear the ultimatum he dropped in that moment. Walka confronted Ray J backstage after hearing that the singer may have been throwing shots his way during a live stream. No phone calls, no DMs, no middleman. He pulled up in person, camera rolling, and got straight to it. The Houston rapper wasted no time getting to the point. He told Ray J to address any issues directly instead of sneak dissing. That right there is the part that cuts the deepest, because in hip-hop, sneak dissing, talking sideways without saying a name, is one of the most disrespectful moves you can make. It's cowardly by design, and Source Walka wasn't going to let that slide. What followed was a verbal dismantling. Shot number 1 landed fast, calling Ray J out as Bree's little brother, reducing him to a footnote in his own family's legacy. Then shot number 2 hit even harder. "You a bum." Ray was uncomfortable looking. The whole thing traveled across the internet within hours. The moment quickly traveled across social media. Clips were being cut and shared everywhere. Twitter, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. People were picking sides before the night was even over. Now, here's the thing that makes this whole situation even more layered. Things got heated on live stream when Source Walka appeared to lose his cool. After Ray J cracked a few jokes that quickly took on a life of their own thanks to the chat. The viral moment unfolded while Ray J was riding in a car with streamer Dean during a live stream. So, this wasn't some backstage after the show face-to-face pre-planned situation. This started on a screen in real time with thousands of people watching and egging it on. What started as light-hearted banter quickly escalated after viewers in the chat began hyping up the jokes and turning the comments section into a roast session. Not feeling the online jokes, Source Walka jumped into the live stream and unleashed a response aimed directly at Ray J. And that's where it gets interesting, because the chat didn't just watch, they accelerated it. They took whatever Ray J and Broner were saying, amplified it, and fed it directly to Source Walka like throwing gasoline into a fire and watching what happens. He also scanned the live chat for context, trying to determine how the tension began. So, in a very real way, the internet helped start this. Whether that matters or not is a whole different question, but it's worth knowing. During his rant, the Houston rapper repeatedly referred to Ray J as Bree's brother and took shots at his entertainment career, calling him a background dancer while questioning his credibility. That's not just a dig at Ray J. That's a calculated dismantling of everything the man has built or tried to build his identity around. Being famous in your own right, being an entertainer, having credibility in these streets. Source Walka hit every single one of those pillars one by one on a live stream in front of everyone. Despite the verbal heat, no physical altercation or security intervention occurred during the confrontation. No punches, no security rushing in. Not a punch was thrown. Spit didn't even touch RY. No security intervened. But the silence in that room, the look on Ray J's face that spoke volumes, and the internet made sure nobody missed it. Now, to understand why this confrontation hit the way it did, you have to understand who Walka actually is and why a man like him doesn't take being talked about sideways lightly. Albert Walka Mundane, known professionally as Walka, is a rapper from Houston, Texas. He started his rapping career in 2007 under the name Or Walk as part of a Houston rap group called Most Heard, Houston Southside, a city that breeds a specific kind of toughness. The kind that isn't for show. The kind that comes from years of navigating a world that doesn't hand you anything. Born in Houston's South Park neighborhood, Source Walka grew up immersed in the city's hip-hop culture. Inspired by legends like UGK and Scarface, he developed a style that resonated with the streets. That lineage matters. UK and Scarface didn't build legacies by letting things slide. They built them by being direct, unfiltered, and unapologetic. And Source Walka absorbed every bit of that. He began releasing mixtapes as Source Walka in 2014, forming the duo Source Twins with another rapper, Sancho Saucy. Source Walka credits himself with popularizing the modern usage of the hip-hop slang term drip. Think about that for a second. Drip, a word the entire culture absorbed into everyday language across rap. Fashion, sports, and social media has roots tied directly to this man, and has been saying that for years, largely without the mainstream cosign that would normally make that kind of claim impossible to ignore. His formation of the Source Factory Collective took his career further, creating a brand that extended beyond music. It became a whole ecosystem: artists, aesthetics, culture, an independent operation that doesn't need a major label to validate it. But what truly put Source Walka on the national radar wasn't a collaboration or chart placement. It was a confrontation, not unlike this one. In 2015, he gained attention after releasing a diss track titled Whack To Whack targeted at Drake, accusing him of appropriating Houston hip-hop culture. At that point in time, Drake was arguably the biggest artist in the world. And this Houston rapper, with no major label, no mainstream press push, and no cosign from any industry gatekeeper, called him out directly and by name. Source felt that Drake was capitalizing on Houston's culture without truly giving back to the city's artists. It wasn't just personal. It was about principle. It was about a city that had been borrowed from for years, while the people who built that culture watched outsiders profit off it. And S. Walka, arguably more than anyone else at the time, put that frustration on record. He gained notoriety in 2015 when he accused Drake of using Houston's hip-hop culture, stealing its dance moves, and not supporting the local hip-hop scene. That beef had legs. It evolved over years. It re-emerged recently when leaked audio surfaced of Source threatening Drake. Audio tied to a situation involving Drake, allegedly being connected to Source Walka's baby mama. Source Walka is the latest artist in drama concerning Drake, and it's all connected to their Houston ties. Recently, DJ Academic spoke on their newly updated beef from leaked audio of Source threatening Drizzy. So, when you look at the Ray J confrontation and wonder where that level of intensity comes from, this is the answer. This is a man who has been willing to go toe-to-toe with the biggest artist in rap. A man who built his whole brand on authenticity, realness, and never letting anything go unchecked. So Ray J cracking jokes on a live stream, even indirectly, isn't something Source Walka is built to ignore. S. Walka was involved in a gun-related incident in 2009. Court records show that he pleaded guilty to deadly conduct after being charged with shooting and wounding a person during a concert, which resulted in him serving community supervision. He's not someone who operates in hypotheticals. When he says something, when he moves on something, it's real. That's the context you need to understand. And what happened on that live stream? To understand how Source Walka ended up in that confrontation, you have to go back to the stream where it all began. Because this wasn't a random beef that appeared out of thin air. It had a setting, it had a cast, and it had the perfect conditions for something to go sideways. Ray J and Adrian Broner have been streaming together recently. If you've been paying attention to the streaming world, you're well aware that Broner has become a sensation for all the wrong reasons. Most of the time he streams with Dean the Great, although lately he has been streaming with Ray J. These settings resemble private gatherings more than structured broadcasts. These sessions typically take place inside residences where friends, acquaintances, and guests cycle in and out. Conversations unfold without much direction. There's no producer in an earpiece, no segment producer keeping things on track, no one managing the tone. It's just people in a room, a camera running, and thousands of people watching. These streams are typically held inside a home somewhere, with friends and other girls being invited for some hijinks. Oftentimes, Broner can be seen making the women feel uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Ray J tries to keep Broner from doing something truly stupid and regrettable. So, Ray J's unofficial role on these streams has been the stabilizing force, the one who steps in when things tip too far. That's ironic given what happened with Source Walka. The viral moment unfolded while Ray J was riding in a car with streamer Dean during a live stream, and that's when it started. Ray J was on the stream. Broner was involved and comments started flying. The kind that aren't directed at anyone specifically, but that everyone in the room and everyone watching understands are pointed at someone. That's the anatomy of a sneak diss. Plausible deniability with full intent. The confrontation stemmed from remarks made by Ray J and Adrian Broner during a recent stream where both appeared to make subtle negative comments about Source Walka. The chat picked up on it immediately, and here's where the modern live stream dynamic becomes its own character in this story. The chat doesn't just observe, it participates, it escalates. It takes whatever tension is simmering and turns up the heat until someone boils over. The tension escalated when Source Walka questioned them about these remarks and engaged with the live stream chat to clarify what was said. He was scanning the comments, trying to piece together exactly what was said about him. In the old days, you might hear something 13 days later through word of mouth. Now the receipts are right there in real time. Thousands of people screenshotting, timestamping, clipping. You can't deny what a chat log captured. As the discussion continued, both Ray J and Broner exchanged comments that S. Walka interpreted as pointed. This prompted him to respond directly while still on camera. In a widely circulated clip, he presses both hosts for clarification. And then there's the Dean factor. Ray J left after realizing Dean was scared of Swaka. After Dean blamed the chat and let Swaka disrespect Ray J. So even the host of the stream wasn't backing Ray J. In that moment, Dean deflected. He pointed at the chat and Ray J was left standing there alone, taking all of it while thousands of people watched. That's the moment it stopped being just an internet squabble. That's the moment it became a whole situation. Ray J didn't get famous on his own terms, or at least not initially. Ray J has spent years building a reputation as one of the most unpredictable showmen ever. But the road to that reputation was paved with years of living in a shadow. First his sister Breeze, and then the internet's memory of a tape that wasn't supposed to exist. And that's exactly the wound S. Walka pressed on when he called it Breeze's little brother and background dancer. Because for Ray J, identity has always been the central struggle. Who is he when you strip away everything else? What's the legacy when the most famous thing you've ever been attached to isn't your music, isn't your acting, and isn't your business? To give Ray J his due, he has tried to build a lane for himself. He's had music, he's had television. He created Raycon, a wireless earbuds company, which became one of the more recognizable independent celebrity brands in the tech space on what amounts to unscripted, unfiltered content that gets millions of views precisely because anything can happen. But here's the tension that's been following Ray J for years. The gap between who is trying to be and what the world keeps reducing him to. Remember when Ray J appeared to be bleeding from his eyes while wearing a heart monitor? He was actually behind the scenes applying fake blood before taking the stage. That was Apex Manufacturing. That clip went everywhere. And instead of building mystique, it built skepticism. It made people wonder when Ray J is doing something dramatic. Is any of it real? Ray J has gone through it all. From public feuds, weird interviews, lawsuits, MMA matches, and other random stuff like facing death on social media. The man has lived about 5 different public lives in the span of one career. And through all of it, the question has always been the same. Is this real, or is Ray J working an angle? That question became unavoidable the night S. Walka pulled up on him because the contrast was striking. He is Source Walka, a Houston rapper who has been in real situations, who has real street credibility, who built a real independent music empire from scratch, and is standing directly in front of Ray J calling him out. And Ray J looks uncertain, not scared necessarily, but uncertain. And the people watching, they noticed. They always notice. On these streams, the chat is the audience and the jury. And that night, the jury was not leaning Ray J's way. What makes this even more compelling is the setting. This wasn't a press run gone wrong. This wasn't a controlled interview where someone got too comfortable. This was the unscripted live stream world that Ray J himself chose to inhabit. The world where anything can happen, where there's no edit button, no PR team cutting to commercial. He helped build that environment. And then that environment turned on him. When the clip stopped circulating and the dust began to settle, a few things hung in the air that the internet wasn't quite ready to let go. For now, neither Source Walka nor Ray J has claimed the confrontation was staged. That silence is doing a lot of work. Because in the current landscape where celebrity confrontations get manufactured for content farms and beef gets orchestrated for streams, the first question everyone asks is, was this real? And the fact that neither man has come out to say now it was just content is either because it was genuinely real or because neither of them wants to be the one who blinks first and admits it. Walka's style of confrontation on this occasion appears influenced by wrestling's theatrical showmanship, particularly the WWF, which aligns with his reputation for bold and unfiltered expressions. And that layer is impossible to ignore. Walka is a student of the WWF, not WWE, and wrestling culture. The man understands performance. He understands how to work a crowd. He knows the difference between hitting someone and hitting them in a way that makes everyone feel it. So, when you watch back the confrontation, you're watching someone who understands theatrics deploy those theatrics in what might be a real situation or might be an engineered one. The genius is that you can't tell. And that tension is exactly what makes the clip spread. This incident highlights the increasingly blurred lines between real conflict and performance in today's streaming and social media landscape. Neither source, Walka nor Ray J, has confirmed whether their face-off was authentic or staged. But the public exchange has nonetheless drawn significant attention, illustrating how artists are leveraging online platforms to amplify their personal brand in disputes. And that's the bigger thing worth sitting with, because whether this was real or performance, and it may well have been both, it worked. The clip spread, people talked, articles got written, both men trended. In 2025, in the attention economy, there is no meaningful difference between genuine beef and content. The outcome is the same. Views, shares, reactions, takes. Source Walka pulled up, said his piece, and walked away. The one who looked like he didn't come to play. Ray J stood there and took it without escalating. Both of them are still here. Both of them got their moment. The real question that lingers isn't was it real, it's what was the point. And the answer, depending on who you are, might be different. For Source Walka, it reinforces something he's always stood on, that he doesn't let anything go. That is built on authenticity. That even in the live stream era, if you talk about him sideways, he's going to find you. For Ray J, it's a complicated picture. He didn't back down in the traditional sense, but he also didn't flip the script. He absorbed it. And in hip-hop, absorbing something without responding carries its own message. As live stream culture continues to reward spontaneity and escalation, Brona's presence has increasingly aligned with that demand. Yet, the same conditions that amplify those moments also strip away safeguards. In turn, this leaves behind broadcasts that spread widely online while raising quiet questions about responsibility, control, and where entertainment begins to blur into something less defined. That last part hits different when you think about it in the context of this whole situation. The stream that started it, the chat that fanned the flames, the confrontation that spilled out backstage, the clips that spread everywhere. Everyone fed the machine and the machine kept running. Source Walka is still here, still from Houston, still not taking anything sideways. Ray J is still on streams, still moving through his many public lives. And somewhere in the comment section of every clip, the internet is still deciding what it all meant.